The pen hovered the room, held its breath crystal glasses, stopped clinking as if they knew better. He leaned in to pour water I didn't think he'd drink and saw the signature line waiting like a trap. That's when the paper tilted. Just enough for the watermark to lie to my blood went cold. "It's a fake," I whispered, not to him, to myself, because once I said it out loud, nothing could be undone. I'd learned to read rooms the way sailors read whether private dinners had rules. Don't speak, don't exist, don't remember. He sat at the head of the table, the billionaire, a practiced calm wrapped around him like tailored wool. Across from him, the men with the money smiled too easily. The deal was $100 million, sealed with a fountain pen older than my daddy. Was a waitress. He was invisibly, was supposed to stay that way. I knew him before the money calcified his voice. We met when his shoes were scuffed, and his ideas were hungry. Believed in him. Then he believed in us. He told me I was his anchor. He told him he was my horizon. Way built routines out of cheap wine and late nights, promises made in inkless air. Trust felt natural, love felt strategic. Even then, the betrayal didn't arrive screaming. Jit crept a missing Kala calendar entry, scrubbed Klenlotter, that didn't reach his eyes when he said my name. He learned to count receipts the way I counted heartbeats. He learned his tells when he lied. He blinked twice when he planned. He stopped blinking altogether. The evidence came quietly, a message on a burner phone he forgot to hide, a photo reflection in a glass wall, his hand on another woman's back, proprietary. Familiar, didn't cry. Cataloged, let the pain sharpen instead of spilly. Watched him build a new future on top of the old one and call it innovation. I took the waitress job because it kept me close proximity as power. When your patient memorized menus and seating charts, learned who tipped to impress and who tipped to control, learned the cadence of men who thought the world was a spreadsheet, learned how paper lies. That night, the document gleamed with confidence. It shouldn't have. The font was right, the seals were right, but the watermark was wrong. Subtle, a fractional tilt that only appeared under a certain angle of light shown me that trick once. Proud, explaining how to spot forgeries because trust was expensive. Forgot I was listening. I had choices: keep quiet, keep my job, let him sign, and let the lie calcify into war, speak and shatter. The roomy thought of the nights I swallowed truth to keep peace. He thought of the future he'd stolen and labeled progress. Me hand steadied. I didn't say it loudly. I didn't need to. It's a fake, I whispered, and set the water down with a soft click that carried farther than a shout. Eyes turned, silence thickened. The billionaire frowned, not at me, but at the paper. He trusted documents more than people. Everything after that moved fast because the plan had already been moving for months. Seeded doubt where it would bloom. A compliance officer tipped anonymously. A journalist got a lead too precise to ignore. The investors' council had questions, crude like dominoes. He wasn't improvising, was executing. He tried to save it with charm, with authority, with the old blinkless stare. It didn't work. The watermark failed again under scrutiny. A second page contradicted the first. The signatures traced too cleanly. The room shifted its allegiance in inches. Power always does. When they asked how I knew, I told the truth. Trimmed to safety. Had been trained. I'd seen one before. Didn't say by you, he didn't say for you. He watched me like a magician, realizing the audience had learned the trick. The fallout was surgical. The deal paused, then dissolved. The billionaire didn't rage. He froze, calculating losses in silence. His security escorted me out with apologies and a card outside. My phone lit up with confirmations, accounts flagged, boards notified, stories published. The trap closed the way traps should, without noise. He confronted me days later in a glass office that smelled like money and fear. You ruined me, he said, as if it were weather. He told him ruin requires surprise. He'd given him warnings for years, just didn't hear them. I didn't take his money, took my name. Baki took the future he'd mortgaged without consent and reclaimed it with interest. The woman in the photo left him when the headlines hardened. Partners vanished, trust evaporated. Blink blink. Now, when I think about that whisper, I don't hear fury, hear precision. Justice doesn't always raise its voices. Sometimes it pours water, notices a lie, and waits for the right angle of light. I still serve dinners, different rooms, different rule, lazy don't disappear anymore. And when a pen hovers, I watch closely because silence is a choice, and I've already made mine.